This is Coach Ron Gaffner. I have Tyler Stenberg here with me just to talk with him a little bit about this event and how much it means to us to honor his father and to have an opportunity to talk about the scholarship that we're trying to establish in his father's name for a high school athlete from Reese Buffer to go to either Muskegon Community College or Grand Valley State. But Tyler, I guess my first question would be how do you feel about the scholarship and what it's doing and the importance of having the opportunity for someone to go to college either at Muskegon Community College or Grand Valley State?
Well, my dad, he always wanted like people to really do what they wanted to do, and he always said that he wanted like kids to be able to do what they want, and I feel like this is really beneficial to a lot of kids for like going into sports and stuff, because then they'll actually be able to get a scholarship, and it's really cool like knowing that it's for my dad and stuff. And a lot of people like my dad, and I feel like that it really helps kids out because they always want it. And I don't know, words can't describe like the feeling that all these people have, and they know that it's for a good cause.
I know your dad spent a lot of time. I've known your dad since he was a high school wrestler, and I tried to recruit him out of high school actually. And I know he spent a lot of time and a lot of hours with you and your brother Cody as you were growing up, and with Reese Buffer, not only wrestling but the kids football programs and all that he did to contribute to the community. And just, I knew him as an individual and as a former wrestler, and he was just so positive about everything. And I'm sure he's very excited as we look out. I know that he's very excited about you and your brother being involved with the college program. And give us a little insight to what you think is, the difference between moving from high school competition into college competition.
Well, obviously it's a lot harder in college. You don't get easy matches like we've seen today with all these tech pins and stuff, but it's a pretty big transition because a lot of kids are relying on their parents in high school and like they're there, but then once you're at a college you're kind of on your own, and I feel like that scholarship helps really well too. And it's just such a big transition, and you're not with like all your teammates, you're starting fresh. I have my brother, but we haven't really been on the mat a lot lately, but it's really nice being close to home too. So I feel like a lot of Reese Buffer kids, they'd want to like go to Grand Valley or go to MCC because it's close, and plus they have a scholarship opportunity now too to help them out, make their decision a lot easier.
Well, we're just, as I said, very excited to have you and your brother in the program, and you're just a huge asset to our program. And you've had some injuries that you've dealt with, some aches and pains and so forth, and you've got the clearance now to come back and compete, and we're very excited about that as coaches and as a team. And we think that, the sacrifice that you guys make as far as trying to be a full-time student, trying to help out with your father's business and going to school, and the commitment to time for wrestling it's greatly appreciated by us. And we hope that you have the feeling that it's going to be the experience that you were looking for, and that you're able to talk with other area high school wrestlers or other wrestlers that you know, because on the team this year we have several individuals that you did summer wrestling with, the Chub team and all that. And so, we're hoping that it's an experience that you enjoy and are able to go back out in the community and say, this is really a great opportunity, and we're hopefully establishing a scholarship that's going to make it available for a Reese Buffer student athlete to attend. So what would be your feeling if I asked you to go and recruit someone, an area high school wrestler that was very good, and we're trying to recruit him to Muskegon Community College, what would you say to him?
I would say that MCC it's pretty much a lot like high school, but it's harder, and I feel like you're close to home, so like I feel like I'm still in high school. Like I love it because it's not really much of a big change, and knowing like my family's close and they can come to all my wrestling meets, it's just awesome. I love it.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time to talk with me and express your feelings as far as the wrestling program, but the college in general, and hopefully the good experience that you're having attending school, working on your education, and planning for the future.
Welcome back to the Rick Stenberg Memorial Scholarship Duels. We have Mr. Swanson. He's a national champ for the Jayhawks. He's checked in. He's at this event.
Yes, sir. Mr. Swanson is one of our biggest supporters. He does a great job of playing in the golf outing that we have as a fundraiser for the Dan Burt Memorial Scholarship.
Right.
And he's at all of our home contests, and just still a big-time Jayhawk.
Well, Fred Schmidt is getting ready to get the Muskegon Community College Grand Valley State University wrestling match ready to go here. And as you mentioned earlier, the only difference in time-wise between high school and college is that the collegiate wrestles 3-minute first periods, where the high school wrestles 2-minute periods.
Correct. 3-2-2, and they start on their feet in the neutral position that first period, and the goal is to score the first takedown, because studies have shown that the young man that scores the first takedown in a match, about 68% of the time that person wins the match.
Well, Coach, the high schoolers started at 140. The collegiate, do they choose randomly a weight class?
Yes, they draw randomly for the weight class. Tonight we drew, and 125 is our starting weight class. And
How about that?
We will have, for Grand Valley State University, it'll be Joe Stope. And Joe is from Michigan Center High School and is a junior at Grand Valley State University. And for Muskegon Community College, we have Devon Dodgens, who's a Remus Chippewa Hills graduate. He's a two-time state champion. His current college record is 22-6. He's placed in 3 of the tournaments we've had, Ben McMullen, Niagara Open, and Art Craft. Devon was an academic All-American for this fall, and we were at the National Duels out in Des Moines, Iowa last weekend, and Devon did an outstanding job for us there. He beat the number 10 ranked person in the country from Iowa Western, and he lost to the number 4 ranked man in the country from Northwest Wyoming in overtime. So we're hoping to get a lot out of Devon this year. Our region is very competitive at 125, but we think he has the talent and ability to place well there and be an All-American for us at the national tournament at the end of February.
Jayhawks did a great job out there at the national duels. They wrestled very well.
Yeah, we're very excited with the results. We went in seeded number 8. We finished number 6. We lost 22-15 to the number 2 ranked team in the country. So we think there's nothing but better things ahead for the Jayhawks.
Well, wrestling for Grand Valley, as you mentioned, is Joe Stolt. He's from Michigan Center High School. He's 4-3 so far in the year with 1 pin. He's a 2013 NCAA national qualifier. And he's studying special education. That's what he wants to major in, so.
It's great to be back working with young people, and it's great to see them giving back to education. Devon's pretty tough on top. He's on his feet. The quick high crotch, quick change off to a double, tight waist ride. He'll try to bundle up the arms possibly and work a Turk or a cross-face Turk.
Well, he has a quick takedown here in the first period. Now he's controlling the right arm of Stolp. Stolp trying to get away for the escape.
He'll lift and spin with him. There you go. Don's this last weekend, just at the national duels, he became so more confident on top. He just didn't think he could control anybody from the top position. And as the weekend progressed, and he did, he now believes that he can dominate people from the top position. We'll try to break him down, put him on his hip, and then proceed from there to try and turn him for some additional back points. If he can't turn him, he'll probably let him go because he's so good on his feet that he'll probably try to score more takedowns if possible. Now he's trying to get the leg in for a leg Turk. If he gets the leg hooked and shoots his hips across, he'll try to take the Joe right to his back.
Our camera person for MCC TV for the second match is Christian Vrablik out of Grand Haven.
Well, he should be familiar with wrestling because Grand Haven High School is another area high school that has a very strong program. And they have some young men this year that we're trying to recruit for next year.
Well, there's an escape by Stolt, 2-1 in favor of Dodgens. Now you talk about Grand Haven being very strong in wrestling. Is that why Tom Izzo visited Grand Haven last weekend?
Probably he wanted to learn more about wrestling, perhaps learn a high crotch takedown or head snap.
Become
so
more.
Might be beneficial in basketball, so his young men have the opportunity to defend themselves a little bit better.
There you go.
Get a little better hand control, and I'm sure that's why he was in Grand Haven. Yes.
Tom Izzo getting well-rounded, anything to do to help Spartan basketball.
Single leg shot, closing back on, comes down. A new rule in college this year is that when you secure the leg, all you have to do is secure the outside ankle, and it's automatically 2 points.
Right.
College wrestling is different because wrestling continues on the edge of the circle. If either wrestler has a hand, a toe, anything in bounds, then you can score from out of bounds, inbounds. And the second rule change this year is that you can pin the man if he's totally out of bounds and your toe is in bounds, you can score the fall. So it's really changed wrestling for the young men, because normally when you went out of bounds, you thought, well, we'll go back to the center just like that. But now if there's even one toe, finger, anything in bounds, you can score the fall.
That may be an opportunity for wrestling mat manufacturers, as they should try to increase the area of the mat if it's going to be carrying on out of bounds.
Right, exactly. And they have, it's going to change that that are being bought, because the rule also says you have to have a 5-foot barrier minimum all the way around the mat.
Wow.
So they got to make the mats bigger, so they're going to cost more money.
There you go.
Therefore, I think they're the ones that lobbied for that rule.
10 seconds to go here in the first period, a 4-1 lead.
There's points. Our official was a little out of position there. All he had to do was hold him there for a 2 count, and it was there. He had him in a bridge for a 2 count.
And there's the end of the first period. Of course, you're picking on Reese Puffer and Muskegon Community College's very own Fred Schmidt, the official, for both matches tonight.
Yeah, I had a serious talk with Fred before the match, and I said, now try to stay neutral on your calls. Don't favor us, but don't penalize us just because they're going to call you a homer.
Fred has no problem doing that. He's been officiating for quite some time now. And
there's a caution on Joe from Grand Valley
Joel Stolt
for setting up wrong on the start. Move your feet. See, the first thing that Devon wants to do is get up to his feet. And that's so important for a high school or college wrestler, is to move their feet in order to escape from the bottom position.
Something that we've noticed, Ron, a little bit of a difference between college and high school wrestling is college wrestlers will have a series of moves all set, versus sometimes your basic high school wrestling will have 1, maybe 2 moves back to back.
Right.
Series is something that collegiate wrestlers.
College wrestling, you have to stay intense, and you have to continue with your motion, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves in a row, like you're saying. There's a high crotch lift for a 2-point takedown. And the same thing on the edge of the mat. The whole mindset has changed this year. In high school, you're out of bounds.
Right.
So you're safe. In college, you are no longer safe at any point, whether you're on your back or whether you're on your feet or whatever the situation might be. The wrestling has to be more intense and more continuous, as you were saying. Now with that takedown, Devon goes up 7-1, plus another difference between high school and college is there's riding time. You get an additional point in the match if you have 1 minute more on top with control.
There's a 1-point escape by Stolt of Grand Valley. Gets in the neutral position, trying to get a throw at the edge of the mat, and they go off the edge. Referee Fred Schmidt will start him back at center in the neutral position.
Devon's not what you would consider a big 125-pounder, but he's real strong. There's 2 for a takedown off a single leg attack.
9-2 in favor of Devon.
What we're working for here is bonus points, of course. In a dual meet, it's so important. You get 3 points for a decision, which is 7 points or less. You get 4 points for 11 to 15, and 15 is a tech fall, and that's worth 5 points, and the fall is worth 6 points. So you're trying to get either that major decision or the tech fall, or the goal of wrestling, of course, is to pin your opponent.
And that's the end of the second period.
So we need to have Devon get a little more aggressive. He's taking the neutral position. He knows he can score the takedown. So I'm thinking Coach Brunger and Coach Tiedema, as the match progresses in the third period, if he can't turn him to his back, they'll tell him to let him go, take him down, let him go, take him down. Which my wife just gets very, very disgusted with it, as I say, because she wants the pin. She wants the pin. But it's just, you know, philosophy in wrestling that you've got to try to score. And if you can't turn the guy, then you have to release him and take him down and try to take him to his back right off the feet. In other words, shoot a high cross, double off, lift him, throw a half, and then put him right to his back. So that, again, is what you said earlier about chain wrestling.
Right.
Go from one thing to the next thing. And that's what he's going to do now, is probably start to score the takedowns.
11-4 as Devon lets him go and gets another takedown. Now it's 13-4 and works him out of bounds.
He'll keep the pressure on him to try to make the other man earn the escape. If not, he'll just, right now, he'll just say, put him up, neutral, and I'm going to go on my feet. This is an optional start where he can place his hands on the back rather than getting into the actual referee's position, they call it.
1 point escape for Stolp, 13-5, an 8-point lead. Now there's another shot by Devon.
Double off, lift, half. Right there is what I was talking about.
Right into a half.
That was the chain wrestling I was talking about. Get a nice tight half, and there it is right there. So 1 second fall. Come on, Fred.
And there it is.
Rules are different, Fred.
There's the fall. And that fall is at 6 minutes of the third period.
Before our next match, I'd like to introduce the
And it's
Youth Malloy wrestlers.
6-0.
Wrestlers, can you please come down to the floor?
Muskegon Community College, and at this time we're going to have our public address announcer introduce the My Way wrestlers. They're working their way down to the floor.
Good job, Devon.
Well, we move on to the 133-pound weight class. Jayhawks lead 6-0 after that pin by Devon. Wrestling for the Jayhawks will be Tim Cooper, and he'll be wrestling Joey Montney.
Zach is from Whitehall High School. Zach was a 3-time state champion. He's currently 15-0 and has placed first in all the tournaments he's competed in. He also is an academic All-American for this year. Zach is a real scrambler from the down position, and he'll work his way through there and come out the bottom and try to come up the back door. And now he's in position. He's trying to go for his inside cradle. So it's 2 takedowns for Cooper, and now he's working hard for that inside control.
His opponent, Joey Montney, is a sophomore from Caledonia High School. He's 5-3 so far this year with 1 pin, and he's majoring in mathematics at Grand Valley State University.
Yeah, he's very similar in body type, a long, rangy young individual. He caught Cooper a little bit off guard on the initial start, but Zach was able to react and respond and got the takedown and went right away towards a pinning combination. That's a caution on Cooper the first time for a jump start, and then a caution on Grand Valley on the second one for movement on the bottom. When you set up in the referee's position, you have to maintain stillness until the referee blows the whistle. If you go too soon, you get a caution, and then the next time it's a caution, and the next time it's a point. Cooper's trying to lace up his tilt, which he'll take to a tilt situation, and now we'll get back points. He'll hold it for a 3 count.
And there's 3 points awarded to Cooper. It's 5-2.
He'll go there, try to tie that arm up again, or try to set up his cradle and roll through with his cradle. Sometimes he scares us because when he's pinning the opponent, he rolls across his own back. And Mason Courtwright, who wrestles 174 for us, this weekend out at the National Duels, pinned a nationally ranked kid from Pratt, Kansas, and pinned both of his opponents on a defensive pin because they've gone on their back for too long a period of time. Cooper feels very comfortable with rolling through under that leg, and he's got a lot of experience. But at the college level, he just has to be careful about exposing his back for too long a period of time. but he's very, very dominant on top and feels very comfortable. Just like his roll through cradle right there.
That's an interesting move.
He goes to a wrist and a wing, and it's like a tilt, only he rolls underneath it because you can't post because he has that arm tied up.
There's 3 more points for Mr. Cooper. Now he's looking for the cradle, and he locks up the cradle.
And that's his bread and butter move right there. He'll get the knee in the side, he'll stretch him out and let him down, and it should be a fall. Right
40
there,
seconds left in the first period.
Fred. It's a 1 second fall. Yep.
And it is a fall here in the first period. At 2:24, Tim Cooper pins Joe Motney. 6 more points for the Jayhawks, makes it 12-0 in favor of the Jayhawks as we move on to the 141-pound bout. Wrestling for the Jayhawks will be Justin Hager, and for the Lakers, Tyler Dempsey. Tyler Dempsey is a sophomore in his second year from Delton Kellogg High School. He's 3-2 on the year. He's a 2013 NCAA National Qualifier, and he's studying nursing at Grand Valley.
And for the Jayhawks, it's Justin Hagar. Justin's from Grass Lake, Michigan, and he's done a great job for us. He's a sophomore. He's filling in for Cody Stenberg and Andrew Nold, who both had some illness issues and some injury issues. So we have him filling in for them tonight, and he's been very competitive for us. He works very hard in the room. He went 1-0 out at the national duels, and he's just gotten back in the lineup himself this semester. So this is the second match of the season. So it'll take some time for him to readjust and get his timing back, but we think he's going to be very competitive for us.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my partner tonight is Ron Gaffner, the longtime coach here at Muskegon Community College.
And Hagar now is going for a front headlock series I talked about. He just can't turn his hip in so the other young man can drive, but he's trying to work off that front headlock to score. So he's got to get on his toes and put a little more pressure on his hips.
My point being, as I look across and see the different coaches, Tom Izzo is able to put assistant coaches in head coaching positions throughout the country, but that's nothing compared to the many wrestlers that have wrestled for Ron Gaffner and are either in collegiate or high school wrestling. You've had quite a few wrestlers continue on because of the love of the sport.
Yeah, and I appreciate them giving back to the sport. Assistant coach at Muskegon Community College, James Tiedema, who was an All-American and second in the nation for me, and an All-American at Findlay University. He's come back. He's been coaching in Florida the last 10 years. And head coach Mark Berger also wrestled at Muskegon Community College and was very successful for us. And then the assistant coach at Grand Valley State University, John Sanderson, is also a former Jayhawk and a 2-time national qualifier for Grand Valley State University. So yeah, and a lot of the area high schools, coaches have been through our program, and we just love to see them giving back to the sport.
It's a true testament of what you showed them, Coach Ron Gaffner.
Well, I appreciate that, John.
0-0, no points here in the 141-pound bout. Hager and Dempsey from Grand Valley.
They've had a couple of flurries, but both of them are a little more conservative now. They both had an opportunity to score and then counter, so they're getting a little tentative, and they need to stay aggressive and need to stay on the offense. Coach Tiedema is telling them that when Grand Valley takes a shot and doesn't score, that we need to immediately reshoot and take a shot as they're coming back up to their feet. So a lot of the scoring is done off what they call a reshot.
Because the opponent isn't totally prepared as he gets up away from his shot.
There's a nice shot, a little too far out, but kept coming, trying to get his knees under him, get his hips under him, so he had some lifting power.
7 seconds left in the first period. No score, 141-pound weight class.
Focus shot on the right. Good first period. Both guys were just trying to feel each other out a little bit in the sense of what they had for abilities on their feet. And Hagar now defers to Grand Valley, and Grand Valley will take the down position. What we want to do is try to dominate on time for at least a minute to try and get some riding time. There's a caution. Caution on Hagar, just nerves, a little nervous, kind of jumped on the start. He's a lifting and put him back to the mat. There it is.
Is the caution, Ron, is the caution for the total match or is it just each period?
No, it's for the whole match. It's accumulated. You get one caution, then you get a second caution, and the next time it's at 1 point for your opponent.
Well, there's a 1 point escape for Dempsey.
See, he had the front headlock, but he turned his hip to the side, and that's why Dempsey was able to go around behind him. So he scored the escape, and he scored the takedown.
It's now 3-0 in favor of Tyler Dempsey of Grand Valley.
Right there's a situation where Grand Valley lifted and put him back down, but relaxed, and his foot was still in bounds. Hagar could have escaped and got the point, even though he was all the way out of bounds. He's got to work to try to get to his feet. So he has to work on those hands and step up as soon as he can. There's a nice Grammy roll. Oh, he just had to come up and keep his head up, and he would have had the 1 point escape. It's a very nice Grammy roll.
Yes, it was.
But once he rolled, he had to keep his head up. So Dempsey just followed him around. You see, he's got, there it is. He's got to fight those hands to get, there you go.
There's a 1 point escape.
A nice escape, a lot of hand control. He just now on his feet has to get a better setup in order to score. Justin getting a lot of support from his teammates, trying to give him words of encouragement as to what they can do to try and score that 2 point takedown and tie the match up.
Referee Fred Schmidt getting some things adjusted at the scorer's table.
Yeah, I think it was a riding time clock. The people running the table may not be aware of how riding time works. Because when green is on top, it runs in their favor, and as soon as red gets control, it stops and starts going the other way.
.24 seconds left in the second period. A 2 point lead for Tyler Dempsey.
Hagar has to work to get inside control, has to control the hands a little better. He's reaching over the top, and that can lead to trouble if the other man takes his shot. As long as he stays inside with his hands, he needs to circle on the edge. In college, you can be penalized if you don't circle and try to stay on the mat. If you get pushed directly out of bounds, it's a warning for stalling. So again, there are a lot of similarities, but a lot of differences as far as high school rules and college rules.
That's the end of the second period, a 3-1 lead.
Oh, there's a caution. Grand Valley moved his hand off the elbow too soon. So now there's another caution on Grand Valley.
College wrestling is more.
That's his second caution. The next one's going to cost him a point. If he does it again, we will get a point on the scoreboard. So we want him to do it again.
Wrestling starts for collegiate is more particular. There's a 1 point escape.
Now we have a 3-2 score.
This is the third and final period, so Tyler Hagar
gets poked in the eye. That's why they say they penalize for hands in the face, because sometimes that can happen and you get poked in the eye. It's unintentional, it's not
right.
But there are other wrestlers that will continually punch you in the forehead and in the eyes until the referee says, do not do that.
Minute 37 left in the third period. Dempsey with a 1 point lead, 3-2.
Yeah, we need to score a takedown. A takedown will win this match if we can take him down and hold him under control. But he's doing a nice job for us. Justin's doing a real good job for us as far as being very competitive. Keep the head pressure. Got to keep pressure on the head. He can't let him back up. He's got to lock that front headlock on him. This is where it becomes mental. You have to stay aggressive, and you have to take a good shot. He can't circle back. He's got to be out aggressive. See, what the Grand Valley young man is doing is just tapping on the leg. He's not really serious about taking the shot, but he wants to make himself look good to the referee.
So it looks like he's being aggressive and not getting any stalling calls.
No intention of going underneath Hagar because he's afraid of getting front headlock. As long as he keeps feinting the shot, it doesn't look like he's stalling. But Justin has to understand there's 30 seconds left. He's got to give anything and everything he's got. Oh.
22 seconds left. There's a shot by Hager.
You've got to get both hands on that leg. See, he's backing up from position, and he needs to be attacking instead of backing up.
There's a warning for the stalling, 2 seconds left.
Too late. He should have been done in the whole period. Then he would have got the stalling warning and then the point.
Well, it's a 3-2 decision for Tyler Dempsey of Grand Valley. So the team score is 12-3, the Jayhawks. And we move into the fourth match. And Elvis Peacock will be wrestling for the Jayhawks. And he'll be taking on Kyle Hoare. Kyle Hoare is a senior. Check that. Yes, he is a senior, 4th year at Grand Valley. So he has a lot of experience. He's out of Monroe High School. He has not wrestled yet this year, and he's majored in biomedical sciences, a 3-time NCAA national qualifier. And he was 4th at 141 in All-American last year in 2013.
For the Jayhawks is Elvis Peacock. He's a freshman from Remus, Chippewa Hills. He's a state runner-up out of high school. He's been out of high school a couple of years and decided to come back to school. His current record for us is a 10-9. He's placed 2nd in the Ben McMullen Open, and he's placed 2nd in the Art Craft Open. And he beat the young man, nationally ranked man for us over the weekend. So we were looking for a lot of improvement out of him, and he will be in the same weight class as Tyler Stenberg. So that will be a very competitive situation throughout the season, for the remainder of the season. He also was an academic All-American for us this fall.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Ah, there's an ankle pick.
That's a nice shot for him. He's just got to make his hands. He's still out of bounds, but he can still. That's 2 right there.
Peacock gets a 2-point takedown.
He's very long and very rangy. He's very dangerous.
Hoare trying to do the switch, and Peacock said, "None of that here, not on my watch." It gets control again as they go off the edge of the mat.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, on the edge of the mat. Neither wrestler can afford to relax, because he shucked him by, and if the weight goes on your hands this year, it's automatically 2 points. So it's very, very good strategy on the part of Elvis. And this is the other place where he's really tough, and that's on top of the legs. If he gets that other leg in, his left leg in to that leg ride right there, he can get very tough on top with a power half.
Gets to put a lot of pressure on his opponent.
But he has a tendency to get a little bit high with it sometimes, and that's when he gets shaken over the top. But if he can, right there, he should be putting that right leg in along with the left leg. Now
he puts it in the right leg.
Extend that arm and crank hard on that neck. There it is. Right there's points. He should be counting. The referee should be counting right there. But I'm a little prejudiced.
Well, he's enjoying the match.
But he's now building up that riding time that we talked about. If he gets more than a minute, which he has now at 1 minute and 5 seconds, he has the opportunity to score that additional point.
35 seconds left to go here in the first period.
And he's, like I say, very tough on top. He's got great leverage. And Kyle Hoare from Grand Valley is the same type of wrestler. He's going to try to get that top position also and get that leg in. But if we can extend the right arm and expose Grand Valley wrestler to his back, hopefully we'll get a couple of near fall points.
10 seconds left. A 2-0 lead for Elvis Peacock.
And that's a very strong first period for Elvis. And if he can continue that intensity and the pressure on top, then we'll be in a very good situation.
He has almost 2 minutes in riding time, 1:48 after that first period.
Grand Valley deferred choice, and Elvis chose to take the neutral position. So he's hoping that he can score another takedown. His other option was to take the down position and try and score an escape for an additional point and then go for the takedown. But I guess he feels more comfortable on his feet. I think he's working to try that shuck by again.
There's a shot by Hoer.
And Elvis is very scrappy in this position right here. Hopefully he can get into that switch, possibly hit that Spadle situation, but Kyle Hoer's a senior and he's been around for a long time. There's that scramble on the edge of the mat again. Elvis got to get his foot down. There you go. That's a good scramble on the edge of the mat.
They'll start back at center with 1:17 to go here in the second period.
We need to get Grand Valley on the defense. We need to be aggressive on our feet, trying to score that 2-point takedown and get that 4-point lead. The important thing is the inside control. Both gentlemen are working for position, trying to get that inside control to set up their shot.
There's a shot by Hoer attacking the right leg of Peacock.
Peacock's got to put a lot of pressure on him with his hips. You got to make him extend his arms like that. He has no strength. There's that inside trip, but he has to drop to a lower level. He had the same problem over the weekend. He tried that inside trip and didn't drop the level with his shoulders, so now he's giving up 2 and 2, and he's behind 4 to 2.
For a 2-point takedown, 2-point near fall.
Because Elvis tried to use an inside trip but did not lower his level. Right there.
And Hoer keeps that one, and there they go off the edge.
And
8 seconds left.
Elvis has to get out within 22 seconds or he's going to lose his 1 point of riding time.
Well, there's 8 seconds left of this period.
So it won't be, he'll still have riding time advantage at the end of this period.
1:14, but then there's the third period.
Right. And down 2 means he's going to have to score off an escape and a takedown. See? The young man from Grand Valley is going to try to do the same thing and set up the leg attack with a jerk or a split.
That's the end of the second period. Kyle Hoer has the 4-2 lead, a 2-point lead heading into the third and final period.
Yeah, the coaching staff is going to have to work with Elvis and just tell him that if you're not going to lower your level, that inside trip is not going to work. And he's better at shucks, he's better at other types of wrestling. So.
As far as lowering your level, you're referring to what?
As you come in, he came in, so the 2 wrestlers were chest to chest and even on their feet.
Right.
He needs to drop so his shoulder drives into the waist of the other wrestler. So now the situation is that he's down actually 1 point because of the riding time. So he either has to turn him or he has to let him escape and take him down. So he's trying to work for a 2-point near fall situation.
1:20 left in the third period.
Now he's getting up a little too high. And what's going to happen is the Grand Valley State University man is going to just try to control his hands and avoid being tilted to his back for a 2-point near fall.
Now trying to get a power half.
Right. So what we have to hope is that the referee will warn him for stalling.
He's got a tilt up there. He turned him.
He had the 2.
Not long enough.
Fred, he had the 2.
Official Fred Schmidt doesn't feel he held him there long enough.
See, he's going to try to front headlock blows through. He's got to pressure him down. He's got to get behind him. In order to turn him, he's going to give 1. No, he relaxed and gave the nope, no change in position. Unfortunately, Grand Valley will probably stay under the knee and he will not be able to get the back point.
They call a stalemate with 17 seconds left to go in the match.
So he has 17 seconds to try to score some type of a near fall.
And
let him go.
they allow him to have the 1-point escape, so it's a...
It's actually a 5-3 score, but he had, the ankle was there.
And a caution on red, which is Grand Valley for stalling. Just kind of, but there's a shot on the right leg.
He'll be able to stall it out from that position.
And that'll do it. It's a 5-2 decision. Kyle Hoare.
5-3.
Excuse me. That's right. That's correct. 5-3 decision. So 3 more points for the Lakers,
right,
and they've cut that lead in half. It's 12-6. The Jayhawks lead after 4 matches.
Next for Grand Valley will
be Gabe Stepanovich. He's a sophomore, 2nd year out of Forest Hills Northern. He's 12-2 so far this year.
He will win by a forfeit. Muskegon's young man, who is an exceptionally tough young man for us, is 8-4 right now in the transfer from Marion Military. Shaquille Bell has placed 2nd in the Midland Open and 2nd in Trine, but unfortunately we don't have him tonight. He had a great tournament over the weekend, but he hurt a couple ribs. And we have a big match coming up this weekend down in Lincoln, Illinois. So we decided to keep him out of the lineup and give the ribs a little rest.
They also get a forfeit at 165. Bobby Times was scheduled to wrestle Lucas Gilmore, but he gets a forfeit tonight.
Correct. And our wrestler, Lucas Gilmore, is a freshman for us. He's ranked number 2 in the country and beat the number 1 kid in the country this year at the national duels over the weekend. He's just a great young man. He's an academic All-American. He beat 3 national ranked kids. Unfortunately, tonight he has a class, and this is the first week of classes at the community college. So we felt it more important for him to be in the classroom because that's what they're at college for, is an education. He's a 4-point student.
So we're at the 174-pound weight class here. And for the Jayhawks coach, we'll be wrestling for the Jayhawks at 174.
Joe Sika.
Joe Sika. And the Lakers showed a couple of different wrestlers up there.
Have Barker. It'll be Barker.
Barker, Jack Barker.
Yep.
And Jack Barker is a freshman. It's his first year. He's from Flint Carmen Ainsworth High School. He's 2-5 on the year, 1 fall. And he's studying athletic training, which is well known. They have a very good program at Grand Valley for athletic training.
And for Muskegon, as you said, Joe Sika, he's a state champion out of Whitehall High School. He's having a great season for us. He's ranked number 7 in the country. He's placed 2nd in the Trine Open, 1st in the Art Craft Open. He was 2-1 at the national duels.
And there's the pin. Joe Sika, before you could get all his credentials out, has a fall at 1:15 of the first period.
I was trying to catch up with the score, and he ended the match before he could. So, we want you to know about our Jayhawk wrestlers, so we're trying to give you some information on them. Unfortunately, they're putting people away faster than we, and with the 2 forfeits, it's hard to get the credentials out there.
And it shows, even though the Jayhawks are a national power in a national school in wrestling, that they have local talent here as Sika from Whitehall.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good opportunities for people in the area.
Yep, our team is all Michigan people. We wrestled some colleges out in the national duels that have 16 full ride scholarships. And they bring in some individuals like Clackamas, Oregon, who's ranked number 1 in the country. There's 10 weight classes, and they have kids from 7 different states. So,
how about that? Recruiting at the junior college level. We move on to the 184-pound weight class. Wrestling for Grand Valley will be Nick Varan, a freshman out of Grand Ledge. He's 7-4 with 2 pins. He's studying electrical engineering, and he was an MHSAA state qualifier last year.
For the Jayhawks is Stephen Malloy from Morley Stanwood High School. He's a 2-time state champion for Morley Stanwood. Has a record of 12-3, 1st in the Ben McMillan 4th in the Art Craft tournament down in Chicago. This weekend he beat the number 3 ranked kid in the country and went 4-1 at the national duels. And he also is an academic All-American for us. He's very long and rangy. He defends well when someone shoots on him as far as the sprawl and pressure on the head. The individual who's wrestling from Grand Ledge is a little shorter, a little stockier. So he's got to try to get the underhooks and get some penetration on the legs. He has a very strong double leg attack once he gets past the arms and the elbows of his opponent.
Referee Fred Schmidt starts them back at center with 1:44 left to go here in the first period. No score so far.
So it's very important these next 3 matches for the Jayhawks with the score tied at 18-18. When you give away 12 points in a dual meet, it's hard to come back, but I have a lot of faith in the Jayhawks.
Yes. Once again, you're watching the Rick Stenberg Memorial Scholarship Wrestling Duels here held at Reese Puffer High School.
Steven's just got to get more pressure on the head, make the opponent work a little harder. There he is, got elbows up. He should be able to come up with it. Good scramble.
2-point takedown for Malloy.
Malloy. The counter wasn't real pretty, but it worked, and that's all that matters sometimes in wrestling. Now he needs to be able to bar the arms, start working on the arms, work for either a tilt or a wing and a half, something like that. Just keep the pressure on, build up that riding time, and hopefully score a couple of back points. Yeah, we feel that we have a really strong team nationally. You know, if everybody stays healthy and we get a couple of people back in the lineup. We proved this weekend at the national duels that we can compete with the best teams in the nation. We were very competitive against the number 2 team in the nation. So
that has to be exciting because then the potential is as the wrestlers get stronger during the season.
Okay, Malloy got up high.
And 1-point escape will be given to Varan.
Varan hit him with a headlock, and Malloy was fortunate to come out of it on the edge of the mat. So Grand Valley gets a 1-point escape, and it's 2-1 with 5 seconds to go. I think Malloy just relaxed a little bit on the edge and was trying to tilt the individual from Grand Valley and got his head caught and almost got put on his back, which would have been disastrous.
Right. So we start the second period. Varan will be on top. Malloy gets up to his feet.
Use his leverage.
He gets the 1-point escape, so he now leads by 2, 3-1.
Scoring a takedown in this period would be beneficial for us to give us a little bit more of a lead. This is the first time this year that our individuals have had to make weight during the week. Most of our competition is on the weekends, and so making weight twice in 1 week can be a little bit of a stress if they don't do it correctly. There's a nice shuck by Stephen Malloy.
Once you achieve your weight at the start of the season, don't you try to maintain that every day of the week instead of gaining after your Saturday wrestling?
The idea is to train down and establish your weight class. In college, again, you don't have any options. There's no additional pounds given in the second part of the season. So you have to train down, maintain that weight, and then try to eat properly, exercise properly, so that you don't end up, several pounds overweight on Monday, and you spend the whole week trying to reduce your weight. There's pressure on the head, stretch him out and circle. He's got pressure on the head. Keep pressuring that head, maybe go to a quarter Nelson and push down even more on the head. Once you put pressure on an opponent's head, it's very difficult for them to lift you up off the ground.
There's a shot by Varan. They go off the edge. They'll start back at center with 31 seconds left in this second period. Varan looks a little bit winded as he's putting his hands on his knees and gasping every now and then, but
I think both men are feeling the effects of cutting in the middle of the week. See again there, Malloy should try to use his advantage and raise his arms up and go underneath his opponent.
12 seconds left of the second period.
Neither one of them look like they're ready to go out and run a mile at this point.
I think you're right.
Here he comes. You have to anticipate. You can watch your opponent, you can anticipate when they're going to take their shot if you watch them right in the midsection. If you watch their head, they'll give you a head fake like in basketball
Right.
or football, and they'll go the other way.
Watch the waist.
Yeah.
Always watch the waist, because wherever that goes, the rest of the body will
You don't
follow.
have much choice.
Heading into the last 2 minutes of the match, it's a 3-1 lead for Malloy of Muskegon Community College. He's on top, and he is now over a minute of riding time.
A young man from Grand Valley, Varan, tried to hook an elbow and do a side roll, which is usually a heavyweight move.
Right.
So if he'd have caught the elbow, then he has the opportunity to turn Malloy over, or reverse Malloy anyway. But he reacted well, jumped to the other side of the body and countered it pretty well. This is where Malloy should dominate on top because he has such a height advantage that if he just stretches his opponent out and stays under the arms like he is, he'll be fine. It's if he relaxes, there it is. Now, he'll try to go under the elbow possibly and throw a half.
Seems that only certain wrestlers like to put the legs in, where the other ones control the arms.
Exactly. Working the legs properly and being successful takes a lot of experience. So many young men will get them in and get up high and get rolled over their own back and pinned. So if you're not an experienced leg wrestler, there's an attempt at a Granby roll by Varan. Malloy floated with him. The idea is always got to keep his head up when he does that. Otherwise, the individual on the bottom will roll right through and get a one-point escape.
If you have the legs in and you're up high and you pin yourself, it makes you gun shy.
Yes. And that's exactly what happened this weekend when Mason Courtwright had 2 defensive pins and one against the number 4 kid in the country because he got up high and he rolled through, and then Mason just reaches back and catches your head and then just straddles the legs, and you're trapped. You can't get out. So even though you're winning the match, nope.
And they go off the edge of the mat and on to the hard court.
He tried to get 1-point escape and 2 takedown, but he didn't let him fully escape before he shot the double leg takedown.
Malloy with a 2-point lead, 3-1, with 27 seconds left, and he has over 2 minutes of riding time.
Barring any, as we say, disasters in position, he should be fine, and we should be able to pull this match out. I think Moran is going to try and hook and roll.
There's the half coming in from the left side. He has his man broken down on the mat.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get to see a 157-pounder, 165-pounder because they're very athletic and they're very good. So I'm very proud of our Jayhawks for picking up the slack in the other weight classes and being very competitive.
And there's the decision as Stephen Malloy decisions Nick Varan. 3 more points for the Jayhawks. It was a 4-1 lead. 3 more points for the Jayhawks. Gives them a 3-point lead, 21-18, heading into the 197-pound weight class. Wrestling for the Lakers will be Alex Parkin. He's a freshman. It's his first year. He's out of Rochester Adams High School. He's 4-9 on the season, and he's studying business and German at Grand Valley.
For the Jayhawks, wrestling at 197 is Donovan Brochet. He's out of Oscoda High School. He was a state runner-up and a 3-time state place winner. Has placed first in the Trine Open, second in the Art Craft. Went 2-2 at the Nationals and beat the number 4 ranked in the young man in the country from Pratt, Kansas.
Fantastic. Well, Fouché has a quick takedown and put the legs in during that time, quickly taking a 2-0 lead.
Right, and the same thing this weekend. He beats the number 10 ranked kid from Neosho, Kansas, and then lost a close 7-5 match to the number 6 ranked kid from Northwest Wyoming. So he's a very competitive young man. He's very strong in the upper body techniques and been very dominant on top when he wants to be. He's going to cut him loose now and give him the escape because he figures he can take him down again.
Was Fouché unranked heading into the national duels?
Yeah, we had Fouché was unranked, Bell at 157 was unranked. So when the next rankings come out, we probably should move up a little bit in the polls because we proved this weekend that we can compete with anybody. Here's the underhook to probably a throw on the side. He'll underhook one side and reach across and step in front and try and hip toss the other young man. But yeah, Fouché will move up. Malloy probably will move into the rankings.
Fantastic.
Bell should move into the rankings. And then
fantastic. Fouché attacks the left leg, gets a 2-point takedown.
Yeah, he's pretty powerful. He's trying to hook the leg and work a crossbody Turk at this point. Assistant coach John Sanderson, Grand Valley, is getting a little vocal over in the corner. What Donovan's trying to do is dominate on top, build up that riding time. He's got that wrist ride, trying to break him down.
Under a minute to go here in the first period, 4-1 lead for Fouché.
Yeah, he lost this weekend to the young man from northern Iowa who's ranked number 2 in the country by 2 points. So we're looking for some real productivity out of him this semester. And
another good couple of months of wrestling to improve on top of that, plus seeing these people in competition. It could be some fun at come national time.
We hope so. We hope it's a very, and Devon Dodgins, who's walking by right now, also was unranked, and the only match he lost was in overtime to the number 4 ranked kid in the country. So
things look promising for the Jayhawks.
Just got to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. And for the next month and a half, just stay competitive and stay healthy. There it is, right there. The underhook and step in front. And
he keeps his feet. Oh, he still had that left foot in, but
he had the toe in, but he didn't have control of the upper body.
Okay.
But that's one of his. He's very strong in upper body. There's a nice single leg shot.
Nice shot.
Nice takedown at that point.
And they give him a 2-point takedown. So it's 6-2 after the first period. Looked like even though that Parkin was holding on, they gave him the takedown.
Yeah, as soon as he went to his hip. He had the single leg and his spiral turned on it, and as soon as Patkin went to his hip and to his butt, it's a 2-point takedown.
Even though he's reaching back. I think in high school they figured if you're still holding on, it's not a takedown, but not in college.
Okay, Fouché attempting a cradle, didn't get it locked up tight, looking for that outside cradle.
Ron, what a nice turnout for the first annual benefit, Rick Stenberg Memorial Scholarship benefit here at Reese Buffer.
It's exceptional, John. It's exceptional. I mean, we've had the bleachers pretty well filled up, and it's great to see this turnout for such a great cause.
Yes.
And as you said earlier, it's just, I think, going to continue to grow from year to year as far as having the high school meet and the college meet on the same night. Grand Valley is committed to it also because the scholarship is set up for an individual to go to Muskegon Community College or Grand Valley. So
fantastic.
So I'm assuming probably at this point every year the dual meet will be between Grand Valley and Muskegon.
Grand Valley, Muskegon. Yes.
Right now, Donovan's pretty much dominated on top. He's got the arm up on the back, which is very difficult once again. Now he's trying to drive him into the half Nelson, but he needs to lift and brace him down. He's trying to break him down so he get either a half Nelson or a cradle, some type of pinning combination to end the match.
48 seconds left in the second period, a 6-2 lead for Fouché.
Oh, caution, a little bit of a quick start on Donovan's part there. That's what you try to coach as individuals, to be ready on the whistle, but don't anticipate the whistle. You have to anticipate a little bit, but you also have to make sure. Referees are all different. Some will do a longer pause than others, so they try to outguess the referee. So, some coaches coach to watch the referee's cheeks. So when they go to blow on the whistle, they get a little puff in the cheeks. So they try to get a jump on that. I know I couldn't see that far because I wear glasses and I can't see anything.
Nice double leg shot by Fouché.
Still dropped to his hip, outside ankle. He's got to score the outside ankle. Got to keep him in bounds. He's got to trap that other foot. There it is.
There's the 2-point takedown. With 5 seconds left in the period. And after 2 periods of wrestling, it's an 8-3 lead for Donovan Fouché. Fouché will start in the down position to start this 3rd and final period.
Good caution on Grand Valley. Coach, the referee kind of let that one go out. It's a step over the hips. Slide back to reverse half Nelson. I think we're going to work our way into a fall if he doesn't let that arm through.
He's got that arm, and he's leaning forward into it.
So he's got the head and arm included together, so he can use that as a pinning combination. Otherwise, he'd want to lift up that bottom elbow with his right arm. If he lifts that elbow up, he could probably... I think Grand Valley may be in trouble here. He's got to get out perpendicular and hold him. Nope, let him roll through.
And 3 more points near fall.
I'll tell you, at the college level, if you get a young man on his back, you can't let him off because the skill level is a little bit higher, and there's always that opportunity, the other person coming back and scoring the fall on you.
It's 13-3, a 10-point lead for Fouché. Looking ahead at the 285-pound bout, Sean Chamberlain will be getting a forfeit, but would it be possible? I see Russ Swanson across the way to maybe have him step in and give an exhibition?
Not sure if we have a singlet large enough for Swanee at this point. But I know he can't wear the singlet when he was a national champion at 118. I'm pretty sure that singlet is not going to be sufficient. Speaking of Sean Chamberlain coming up at heavyweight, he will receive a forfeit. Sean's a sophomore for us from Dexter, Michigan, Dexter High School, and is doing another outstanding job for us this year. He's 15-9 in
fantastic
duels and tournaments. Placed in the Art Craft Open. Went 3-1 this weekend at the national duels against some pretty good people. Beat the number 9 heavyweight in the country.
Fantastic.
North Iowa, headlock and pinning.
Fantastic.
So it's his older brother Corey wrestled for us for 2 years and now attends Eastern Michigan University. It's just a great family. Mother travels all over with us, goes to all the meets. So it's a very supportive family.
And there's the match. It's a major decision for Donovan Fouché, giving the Jayhawks 4 more points, a 25-18 lead heading into the 285-pound weight class. And as we mentioned earlier, Sean Chamberlain of the Jayhawks will get the 6-point forfeit, making the final score between Muskegon Community College and Grand Valley. Muskegon Community College 31, Grand Valley State University 18. What a wonderful evening, Ron, to start out the initial year for the annual Rick Stenberg Memorial Scholarship Duels. You had Reese Buffer wrestling Grand Rapids Union in the high school match, and then the nightcap, Muskegon Community College wrestled well against Grand Valley.
Yeah, so very exciting event, something that I think is just going to continue to grow in the future, help raise money for a scholarship for an athlete from Reese Buffer for either Muskegon Community College or Grand Valley State University. But it's just an honor to Rick Stenberg, and it's just an exciting event to see happen, and I hope it continues to grow in the future.
Once again, Reese Buffer winning 61-6 over Grand Rapids Union in the first match, the high school match. And then the Jayhawks of Muskegon Community College winning 31-18 over Grand Valley in the nightcap. We want to thank the MCC TV crew for making their way over here and supporting this event. We want to thank our camera persons Neil Bradley and Christian Vrablick, all under the direction of Rod Van Nortwick. Ron Gaffner, my partner, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm John Arter. We want to thank you for watching the Rick Stenberg Memorial Scholarship Duels right here on MCC TV.
Thank you, John. It's great working with you again.
Good night, everyone.